At 13, he was schooling grown men. At 18, he was the king of Europe.
Doncic step back three-pointer for the game. You eat that! Oh my word!
By 25, he's rewriting NBA history.
Luka maneuvers away from the closeout. And that is about the best dunk we've ever seen at a look block. He's driving it and looks for Finney-Smith. It's a loose ball, and Luka picks it up. There's some Luka magic!
6 tenths of a second. Brunson will bring it about.
Space.
Oh, Doncic buries a three.
But how did a kid from Slovenia, a country most people couldn't even find on a map, become basketball's brightest star and the Lakers' newest hope? Luka Doncic wasn't supposed to be here. He wasn't a 5-star recruit. He wasn't even the first pick in his draft. But today, he's one of the most unstoppable players in the world. A kid who couldn't even hit the rim at 3 years old is now dropping 73 points in an NBA game.
2 games out to California. Luka banks it home. Johnson up on Luka, down the lane, stopping, back to the basket. Now, Luka splits a double, keeps the dribble alive, all the way to the hoop, scoop to the hoop with a ball.
How did he do it? This is the story of Luka Magic, a boy who turned no into now. From the streets of Slovenia to the bright lights of Los Angeles, Luka's journey is one of grit, skill, and a whole lot of magic. Buckle up. This is the rise of Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic was born into basketball. His father, Sasha, was a professional player in Slovenia, so Luka had a ball in his hands before he could even walk. By age 3, he was already trying to shoot, even if the rim felt impossibly far away. His first real test came at 8 years old. He joined a youth team, and within minutes, coaches realized he was different. They moved him up to play with 12-year-olds, kids twice his size. It wasn't easy. His body hadn't caught up with his skills yet, but he adapted fast. He wasn't always the fastest or the strongest, but he was the smartest. He saw plays before they happened, learning how to think the game at a level far beyond his years. By 13, the world was about to find out just how special he was. At an international tournament in Rome, Luka, just 5'1" at the time, dominated players much older and bigger than him. His passing, shooting, and court vision made defenders look helpless. In the final game, he delivered a 54-point triple-double, leading his team to victory and winning tournament MVP. Scouts who had never heard his name before were left thinking, how could a kid that young control the game like that? His performance opened doors, and at just 13 years old, Luka made the life-changing decision to leave his home and sign with Real Madrid. It was a massive gamble. He didn't speak Spanish, he had no friends in a new country, and he was walking into a club where basketball played second fiddle to soccer, but he adjusted fast. Within 3 months, he had learned the language. By 15, he was practicing with the senior team. By 16, he became the youngest player ever to debut for Real Madrid. Europe had its first glimpse of the future. By 17, Luka wasn't just playing in Europe, he was taking over. The 2017 to 2018 season cemented his legacy. Luka led Real Madrid to a EuroLeague title, becoming the youngest MVP in history. He wasn't just competing with professionals, he was dominating them. Game winners, triple-doubles, step-back threes. His performances shattered expectations. He was no longer a prospect, he was the best player in Europe. Fans and analysts alike started calling him the LeBron of Europe. His dominance wasn't limited to club basketball. That same year, he teamed up with Goran Dragic to lead Slovenia to their first ever Eurobasket gold medal. It cemented his reputation as a player who could thrive on any stage. But while Luka had conquered Europe, NBA scouts remained skeptical. Some said he was too slow. Some said he was not athletic enough to thrive in the NBA. They were about to be proven dead wrong. Heading into the 2018 NBA draft, the hype revolved around DeAndre Ayton and Trae Young. Luka, he slipped to the 3rd pick. The Atlanta Hawks selected him, but then immediately traded him to the Dallas Mavericks. That move would haunt them. Luka wasted no time proving the doubters wrong. By December of his rookie season, he had already established himself as the Mavericks' best player. His numbers? 21 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists per game. Elite. But it was the way he played that stood out. He controlled the pace. He hit clutch shots. He took over games like a seasoned veteran. Then came the playoffs, and with them, Luka's first taste of postseason greatness. In his first ever playoff game, Luka exploded for 42 points, the most in NBA history for a playoff debut. Just a few nights later, he delivered one of the most unforgettable moments of his career. A 43-point triple-double capped off by a game-winning step-back three at the buzzer. It was the birth of Luka Magic. The Mavericks ultimately ultimately lost the series, but Luka had arrived, and over the next few years, he took his game to even greater heights. In 2022, he delivered one of the most dominant performances of his career, humiliating the Suns in Game 7 of the second round. By halftime, Luka had as many points as the entire Phoenix team. The Mavericks led by as many as 46 points, a clear message to the league. Luka wasn't just a star, he was a force to be reckoned with, but despite the playoff heroics, the critics still lingered. Some questioned whether he could win at the highest level. Luka responded the only way he knew how, by making history. By 2023-24, Luka had evolved into the league's most dominant scorer. He won his first scoring title, averaging 33.9 points, 9.8 rebounds, and 9.2 assists per game. Then came the night that sent shockwaves through the NBA. Against the Atlanta Hawks, Luka dropped 73 points on 75% shooting, the fourth highest scoring game in NBA history.
And then Wilt Chamberlain twice scored 73.
His footwork, shot making, and control of the game left defenders helpless. With every record he broke, the whispers grew louder. He was playing at an MVP level, but despite all the personal accolades, one thing was still missing: a championship. But Luka wasn't done yet. His final run in Dallas was nothing short of legendary. At the 2023 trade deadline, the Mavericks paired him with Kyrie Irving. A superstar duo was born. Some doubted whether they could coexist. They proved everyone wrong. Luka and Kyrie torched defenses, forming one of the most explosive backcourts in NBA history. Luka's vision and control, Kyrie's handle and shot making, unguardable. They stormed through the Western Conference playoffs. In the first round, Luka dropped 47 in Game 1 against the Clippers. In the second round, Kyrie erupted for 52 to eliminate the Nuggets. Then came the Western Conference Finals. Luka and Kyrie outdueled the Timberwolves, sending the Mavericks to the NBA Finals for the first time since 2011. Luka was unstoppable, averaging 35 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists throughout the playoffs. But the Mavericks weren't done building. At the 2024 trade deadline, they made key moves to bolster their roster. They traded Grant Williams and Seth Curry, along with a first-round pick, to Charlotte for PJ Washington Jr. And in a separate deal, they shipped Richaun Holmes and second-round picks to Washington for Daniel Gafford. The impact, immediate. PJ Washington Jr. brought versatility, shooting, and toughness. His ability to guard multiple positions and stretch the floor made him invaluable. Daniel Gafford, the rim-protecting, lob-catching force the Mavericks needed. He gave Luka and Kyrie a relentless pick-and-roll partner and a defensive anchor in the paint. And then there was Derrick Jones Jr., signed on a minimum deal. By the playoffs, he was their best perimeter defender. Jones took on the toughest assignments night after night. From Kevin Durant to Anthony Edwards, he made life miserable for the NBA's best scorers. With Luka and Kyrie leading the charge and a reinforced supporting cast, the Mavericks rolled through the West, and that set up a clash for the ages. The NBA Finals, Mavericks, Celtics. It was Luka Doncic versus Jason Tatum, Kyrie Irving versus his former team. The series was a war. Game 1, Luka dropped 42, but the Celtics escaped with a win. Game 2, Kyrie and Luka combined for 73 points, stealing a hard-fought win in Boston. Game 3, the Mavericks role players stepped up. PJ Washington hit 6 threes. Daniel Gafford swatted 5 shots. The Mavericks took a 2-1 lead. But then the Celtics struck back. Jason Tatum dropping 40 in Game 3, sinking tough shots over double teams to keep Boston in control. Jaylen Brown, a two-way nightmare, stripping Luka on a crucial fast break, and throwing down a momentum-shifting dunk in Game 5. Kristaps Porzingis, a tower in the paint, swatting away a Kyrie layup and knocking down clutch threes to punish Dallas's defense. The Celtics' defense clamped down. The Mavericks fought but fell short. Boston won in 6 games. Luka had left it all on the floor, averaging 38 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists in the finals. It was a heartbreaking end, but just when it seemed like Luka would run it back in Dallas. But in the finals, the Mavericks fell short. The Celtics won in 6 games, and just when it seemed like Luka would run it back in Dallas, on February 2nd, 2025, the NBA world was turned upside down. The Mavericks traded Luka Doncic to the Lakers in a blockbuster deal. Anthony Davis, Max Christie, a future first-round pick, all sent back to Dallas. The move stunned the league. Luka had been the face of the Mavericks, but now he was heading to Los Angeles to team up with LeBron James, the very player he had idolized growing up. For Dallas, it was a high-risk move, shifting toward a different future. For the Lakers, it was an all-in bet on Luka as the next face of the franchise. This wasn't just a trade, it was a changing of the guard. The Lakers secured a young European superstar for years to come, as LeBron finishes the twilight years of his career. So, what makes Luka special? Luka Doncic's game is defined by intelligence, skill, and control rather than raw athleticism. His footwork is impeccable, allowing him to create space with subtle jabs, pivots, and his signature step-back three. He dictates the pace of the game, moving deliberately to keep defenders off balance. Luka's court vision is elite, as he anticipates defensive rotations and delivers pinpoint passes that create scoring opportunities. At 6'7" and 230 pounds, he uses his physicality to finish through contact, whether it's in the paint or with a smooth floater. But what truly sets Luka apart? His ability to manipulate the game with calculated precision. He's playing chess while others play checkers, breaking down defenses with a combination of skill and vision that's unmatched. And at just 25 years old, Luka Doncic has already accomplished more than most players dream of. EuroLeague MVP, NBASCORING CHAMP, 5-time All-NBA selection, 73-point masterpiece. But now with the Lakers, the stakes are higher than ever. Can he bring a championship to LA? Can he take the torch from LeBron and lead the next generation? One thing is certain, Luka Doncic isn't done making history. And this is just the beginning.